Yeah, we did. We played better. We were more physical. We were, you could tell the difference where we're struggling at the center spot, not having a big nose guard covering us up like I talked about last week, and not just having that's been the thing that's hurt us past several weeks. Is just playing really good nose guards, and they would play the split front, so it took a little bit of pressure off of us there, put more pressure on our guards, and both guards played well. Mike and Gabitter both played well. Mike actually got the O-lineman of the week graded out higher than anybody else. So, I'm looking forward to him to continue growing in that spot and continuing to get better. He's worked his way back into a starting role, and it really helped that those guys played well. The tackles played well outside. So, we stayed on our blocks better, not where we want to be yet, but the run game was definitely helped out Dagey a little bit in the throw game.
Matt, in your career, have you been a part of this much shuffling, this many different people mixing and matching, especially this late in the season?
No, I haven't. Usually, this late in the season, usually you get kind of settled in, but with Chase's shoulder injury and having to sit out a week, and then just not finding a guy at center there that's really holding it down. But like I said, Chase played much better. But you just got to do what you got to do. You got to try to get the best five out. You can't just keep putting the same thing out there and expecting a different result. So we had to change some things up, and obviously it showed. We played much better. So hopefully we just got to continue.
With Bryson, is part of it being more nasty? I know you talk fundamental technique, but is there a nastiness edge that he needs to?
Well, it's really just the overall. No, he's fine there. It's just the physical side. He's young. He's a redshirt freshman. He's not to play in this league, especially. You got to look at who he played over the past. The kid from Iowa State, he's a redshirt senior. The kid from Baylor. I mean, you saw him the other night. He was the center, the All-American center from Oklahoma. I mean, they were battling all night long. So you look at the nose tackle from Oklahoma is going to be a draft guy. I mean, he played over a series of 5 weeks every week versus a older guy, a redshirt senior that was really strong, that was a really good player, and he just struggled from the standpoint of not being strong enough yet. And he knows that, and he battled, and how hard he works and how bad he wants to play is not an issue. He's just not ready yet. I hate that we had to put him in that situation, but we had to.
Do you think this unit would have fared a little better throughout the season if you actually run into an even front before?
Oh yeah, no doubt, because that was our weak point, was the middle, was the center position from the standpoint of being a position that's matured where we want it. And that was tough playing against them. And again, they're just, like I said, you watch that Oklahoma Baylor game, and that nose guard from Baylor, he gave Creed Humphreys all he wanted. That kid's, probably one of the best centers in the nation. So we played some really good nose guards.
Matt, Oklahoma State, maybe not historically known for their defense, but it seems like they're playing pretty good ball right now, getting a little better each week. What do you
They are. They're playing really well. Versus the run, they're similar to Iowa State, what they do up front with 3 big guys in the middle and really just try to eat up all the gaps, and then drop a lot of people in coverage. So we're back to, kind of where we were at Iowa State, Baylor, those weeks where we had the big 3 guys up front. We got to figure out what we'll do with them. But they run to the ball well, they run well. They got a lot of guys in coverage, doing a lot of different things, a lot of different fronts. They're kind of young. So they're doing a lot of stuff to kind of cover up where they feel like they may have some insufficient, positions there, but they do a really good job of covering it up.
That safety's been playing pretty well too. How much does that go into your?
Yeah, he's a really good tackler. And it's you look at him, you look at the safety from Baylor, number 3, and then the one from Iowa State that got hurt, number 12. All 3 of those guys they're downhill, physical tackle. They don't miss tackles. So that's a guy that you got to always account for. Just like we had 2 in those teams, you got to always account for that guy. He's playing really good.
How nice was it to see Bowles that were popping for 10+?
Oh, the running backs ran hard. It was just one of those nights where we really did a much better job of straining and staying on blocks. It was really nice to see some, especially after the first series. The first series, it was just, it was awful. First series, we messed up 2 of the 3 plays up front, gave up a big hit on the quarterback, and we had to, kind of come over the sideline and regain our composure and then go back out. And the next drive was really nice, but it was good seeing some holes being made and some blocks sustained and running backs hitting the holes and, getting some good yardage in the run game.
What do you think of how Jared performed first start?
The thing about know, he's a tough kid. You know, that the first third down of the game where we messed up protection, he just got hammered back there. He came on the sideline, I was like, hey man, are you okay? He's like, yeah, coach, I'm fine. Like, nothing ever happened. I mean, he's a tough kid. You know, I think he's played behind some pretty tough deals at Bowling Green and got hit a lot. So it didn't really faze him. He's a tough kid. He hung in there and made some great plays. I mean, you know, that scramble at the end was huge, keeping his eyes downfield and hitting the touchdown. But I thought he played well. I thought he had a quick release. Got to step up in the pocket a little bit more. But overall, he bailed us out of a couple times where their defensive ends were really good. I mean, those guys played really hard, and we struggled a little bit on the edge. But he did a good job of getting rid of the ball quick several times where we had some pressure.
You thought to your tight ends this year and their ability, especially their blocking ability?
Definitely gotten way better. O'Loughlin has gotten, you know, and it's one of those things where he's been with me a lot this year, working board drills and working shoots, and just because he's never really played that position from a blocking standpoint. He's always a stand-up receiver, and he has come many miles this season with how much better his technique is and how much better his hand placement and all those things. And he's just going to continue to get better. He's not where we want him to be yet. He's not there, but he shows signs of being able to do what we want him to do with him just being a freshman to really be a quality tight end in this league, blocking and catching.
Man, your pre-snap movement and adjustments seem like it ramped up even a little bit more with 4 guys, you know, readjusting sides pre-snap this week. Did those things change each week according to what you're seeing defensively, or is it just more a matter of, hey, we want to give the defense some different looks, something they haven't seen on film yet?
Yeah, it's just you try to, you know, it's like I was talking last week. You don't want to change your fundamentals. You don't want to change the fundamental things, but you want to change the picture. You want to change the formation. You want to bring motion. We're trying to do things like that just to make those guys think so they can't hone in because, you know, they're at this point of the season, you put so much out there, they can sit there and look at, hey, this formation, these are the top 2 things they like to do, and have those guys really tuned in to what you're going to do and react fast. And all of a sudden, you know, you do some shifts, you do some motions. It really just kind of slows down their thinking a little bit. And that's what you try to do, is get them to think while they're out there. The more you're thinking, the slower you're moving, and that's what we try to do.
Are some of those designed to hopefully like provoke a reaction to set to get to something, a defense that you think you can attack with the play?
Yeah, you're always trying to get angles and try to make them think. And that's what we're trying to do is make them sit there and think a little bit and then get an angle on the run game. And I thought we did a good job last week of getting some angles and getting the ball outside.
Didn't get points, but you know, how much did you like that drive at the end of the first half? Just the way you guys were able to mix run and pass in your team.
You know, I thought the receivers did a really nice job. I thought the quarterback did a nice job of checking the ball down, and the receivers and running backs did a great job when they got it. They got as much as they could. They got out of bounds. I mean, that stuff with 2-minute drill, we work on it all the time. And I felt like they understood what we're trying to do. When we ran the ball, we got big yardage, and then we hustled to the line, got set. We knew it was a situation where it was a first down. The clock was going to start. We got lined up. Next play, and the quarterback did a really nice job, especially to be his first start with us to manage that 2-minute drill. And like I said, receivers did a nice job. I think it was Esdale, a couple catches, got to the first down marker, got out of bounds, didn't try to stay in and score and run out of time. But, you know, like to have made the field goal to him, but you know, that was big to put that drive together out for the half.
How far have your receivers as a group come, and what has Simmons and Campbell done to make that happen?
Really just they're big, you know, Simmons came on about mid-year of making big plays, showing the ability to be a tough tackle. Most of his big plays were catch, break a tackle, you know, and make a run. He showed, I think, his ability to catch, break tackles, make plays, and really just from the whole receiver room standpoint, with guys going down and nobody flinching, I think it's been really big. Another guy stepped up, you know, I think that's been really big, of guys stepping up and making plays when other guys get hurt. You know, hopefully we're going to get Simmons back and be able to add another guy to our arsenal. You know, that's been big now that we're getting some guys back and able to play at full speed.
How about Campbell's influence on him?
You know, he's a hardworking kid. You know, that kid's, you know, dealt with a lot of injury in his career, and this is really the first time he's had a full, you know, off season and season to continually get reps and get better. And he can really run, man. He's a big guy, and that's hard to cover when you get that guy downfield, especially the way Daikie was throwing the ball So he's really, in that room, he's a great kid, and, you know, he's just an overall happy person and works really hard. He's a real joy to be around, man. I think he brings a lot of positivity to our offense and to that receiver room.
Receivers from a blocking standpoint, do you feel that's improved?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Our whole receiver room has gotten so much better, you know, obviously with the transfers over the summer, and then those guys just each week, Coach Dye's done a really good job of just being patient with them and continuing to teach them, because, you know, as y'all know, not many of those guys have played any snaps, so they've continued to get better as the season's gone on. And we've got to up our catch percentage, and that's going to continue to get better as they get reps. And, you know, it's a lot of stuff there's a lot of stuff at that receiver position to take in as far, you know, because you're talking about changing formations, changing motions. Those guys got to know where to line up all the time, and you know what kind of leverage they have on the DB, and you know, be able to run their routes at the correct depth. And you know, there's a lot of stuff more than just catching the ball, but we've got to, you know, I think that room's definitely continuing to get better. Like Coach Brown said, that's our goal every week, is just get better. Don't look too far forward, and just get better. Win the meetings, win practice, you know, and just continue to go 1-0.
Is Dale come farther than anybody in that room?
That'd be tough. They've all come a long way. I mean, as Dale has shown, you're probably right. He's come a long way as far as what we thought we had coming out of spring to what he's doing now. He's been solid. He's getting better at blocking. He's getting better at catching the ball and getting what he can get. You know, he caught that screen the other day, broke a tackle, got 11 or 13 yards on it, and that was big. Just being consistent. That's really where he's going to be the best. Is just continue to be consistent, being a good blocker.
Matt, did you ever have to play through a shoulder injury like Chase is? Because he's 2 weeks removed from not playing, and then he gets back to center, doesn't have bad snaps, tends to hold up pretty well. Yeah, right. And some guys could opt for surgery at that point.
Yeah.
But to stick it out and postpone all that.
It says a lot about him, how much he cares for this team, you know, and just who he is. Where, you know, he knows what he's got, and he knows what the deal is with it, and he continues to rehab and continues to just keep practicing. And we try to, you know, where I can on the field, I try to not put him in situations where he can hurt it more, you know, as far as practice every day. But yeah, I think it just says a lot about what kind of person he is and how much he cares about his teammates and don't want to let people down.
Hey Matt, with regard to some of the pre-snap stuff, Winston Wright seems like he's always on the move and is taking eyeballs with him, but
Yep.
I imagine he's more than a decoy.
Well, that kid can really, really run.
Right.
And, you know, defensive coordinators see that, and they make sure when you got a kid like that coming across the field with a chance to get the ball in their hand, I mean, that's going to take some eyes with him. And, you know, we got to make sure to keep him in the game plan. He's a guy that we need to try to give him the ball several times to see if he can catch that edge, as you guys saw in that kickoff return. I mean, he can really run.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.